All right.
Species as
Got it.
species.
That's right. Hi. Well, I guess it has to be oral hygiene though, because that's how I introduced the first few.
Oh, okay.
We were discussing the idea of Patreoning these
Oh.
first, just as a carrot, and then putting them out a little later. So.
Oh, I thought these were meant to be. I thought you were doing these as part of the Twilight Zone.
No.
That's why I was giving you so much shit for like, what are you doing?
Oh.
No.
This
He was telling me stuff
okay.
about making it a separate podcast that went into the oral hygiene feed, and I was like, that sounds confusing. Why don't you just call it oral hygiene? And
Yeah,
just
that's
change
just
the
what
format?
Matt's like.
Yeah.
If he finishes, he just has to start more projects.
And that's what we do. So
Me
hi.
too.
Yep. Hello. Welcome. It's Oral Hygiene. It's where we talk about caught films, educational films. This one's very educational. We're in a series of 6. No one here knows what's happening. That's the way to talk about Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Today is Skipper the Eyechild. I am Matt. In the same room is Luke. Hi, Luke.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today.
Oh,
And
yeah,
in a
happy to be here.
different-
long-time listener, first-time caller.
In your own apartment.
in a different hemisphere.
Who are you?
Mark Malek.
That's right. He's like in a different time zone, so he can't remember his name. even
On
though
a
it says
large
it on the
enough-
screen.
On a large enough timeline, all three of us are in the same room.
Sure.
Okay. I'm thinking if that's true. I'm not sure you've all been in the same room
Well,
at any point.
that would be more
No, we
like the
haven't.
large enough space line.
No, I
but
mean
was
at
just
different
making
points
a-
in time, I was thinking, but Mark's been to the family house, but you haven't been to the family
I haven't
house.
been to your main house.
But Mark hasn't been to the
Look,
main house.
We've probably been in like
Luke and-
the same train station or ramen restaurant or something.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I was gonna say definitely. We've probably been in the same like curry shop or Howard John. What was that?
Howard Johnson?
Johnson's.
What?
What did you have there that was like an American thing, but it was
Coco's?
Japanese?
Denny's?
It
There's
was,
loads
it
of
was like
Denny's.
the food came in a little house, little paper house. You know what I'm talking about?
In a paper house.
Yeah, there was like a little paper like hut, and they took the hut off the food.
Did Matt just take you for like a Happy Meal?
Oh, no, it's the big boy. He had the steak, and they put it on. So
I have been to a Big Boy.
Yeah,
so
it's
maybe.
just like
So, well, this isn't good, but you've been good myself.
I may have been to sing the Big Boy.
Yeah, this is where the grease doesn't slap you in the face, right?
yeah, from the I think Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes or something like that.
Right.
It was
But it's
very
still
good.
spitting grease when they give it to you.
When I
so.
went to the Genghis Khan place in Sapporo, they put like a bib on me and a separate bib on my bag because they knew how much grease there was going to be.
Nice.
Bag,
So-
doing the bag for your bag. That's pretty hip.
Yep.
So is Genghis Khan restaurant, is that like the make your own stir fry? Because we have something.
No, Genghis
Anything-
Khan is this thing where you have like this sort of dome-shaped grill, and you put meat on the top, and then there's vegetables at the bottom, so the fat like cooks the vegetables.
Oh,
And it's called Genghis Khan because it's made with lamb, and the Japanese assume that's what Genghis Khan ate.
The
okay.
road.
Yeah.
There are a couple of like Mongolian restaurants here, and it's the ones where you pick your own vegetables and meat, and you give it to the cook, and they stir fry it for you.
All right. Well,
So I don't know if that.
not
is
only did I have Genghis Khan, but the Japanese word for like a buffet or an all-you-can-eat course is Viking. So I had a Genghis
Okay.
Khan Viking meal
Nice.
at the
That's a manly
Sapporo
meal.
beer brewery. So it was also all you could drink beer
So that's
Hell
from the
yeah.
brewery. So it was a pretty nice day out.
just to segue.
Yeah.
I guess that is a perfect meal for Garth Marenghi.
Yeah,
and his
Garth Marenghi would
manliness.
love that. He does say in this one about going to Valhalla. So-
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering what his views on men's rights would be.
Yeah, we finally find out what his religion is here.
Well, hell, Mark, I guess I'll throw you no, he's drinking. Maybe I should ask Luke to do the plot. No, now Mark's finished drinking. Okay.
Garth
how time
Marenghi. No, not Garth Marenghi. That's the actor that the actor plays.
We've already gotten to this metaphysical depth of the
That's
Yeah,
the
principle.
wait.
second layer.
I've actually forgotten the name of the character he plays.
Not Reed.
Douglas.
Rick
Doc-
Douglas.
Dr. Rick Douglas is called in at night by a janitor we'll talk about later to a ward where a giant eyeball with a cock is sexually assaulting a man. The man then gives birth to an eyeball baby, but because Dr. Rick Douglas once lost his half man, half grasshopper son, he develops an attachment to the eyeball baby and in secret begins to raise it. But then the rest of the doctors want it killed and he fights them all on a rooftop, but then it bites him, so he smashes it to death.
It's fun when we explain it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, an eyeball child like that, you do just kind of like, what happens if I stab it in the eye? You know?
That's the duality of parenthood when you're just like, I want to eat you up. It's
Yeah.
like, then what if it just bit you? And it was a horrible eyeball.
Well, now we know. Because Garth Marenghi, the writer, he dares to ask these questions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And also don't forget that at the end we find out that Skipper, the grasshopper child, was named after a dog named Skipper who was killed by wasps.
Yeah.
So there's a long lineage of skippers, I guess.
That exists in the second. What are we calling that? Second layer? The documentary reality?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we should delineate what we have here. We have real reality, but is it real, man? Where we're doing this podcast.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're all playing a character a little bit on the podcast, so this is already like one layer.
Oh, okay. So this is 0.5 layer.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's a layer of the creators of the show in a different time period. That's layer 2.2.
Yeah, Richard Iwadi, Matt Berry, et al.
Yeah. And then there's Garth Marenghi himself, which is easily layer 6.66.
Okay.
And then there's the Dark Place,
which is infinity.
Yeah.
Times 6.66.
Matt, you are perfect. You should have been naming RPG sequels. Because you don't just do 1, 2. You go 1, 1.5, 6.66, infinity.
The 3,000th
distance.
decimal of 5/5.
Yeah. Then you just name it the same name as the first one.
Yeah. But expect everyone to know this is actually a prequel.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to take a squiz at my own notes to remember what the story was at the beginning. Oh, he was talking about the dyke of his dreams? What?
Yeah.
I just don't...
Your notes tend to kind of just be kind of freeform rambling about what the characters are saying, and mine are just like, prologue has shades of baby, but also a nurse flirting with a doctor. That is literally what my first line notes.
So you're finding through lines. That's good.
I'm trying to find through lines.
Babies all the way through. Okay.
I sort of I changed the way I took notes because I felt like I forgot to mention 3 or 4 things when we did the Matrix Revolutions on the other podcast. So
I only take a note if there's like one specific thing, like, right, I have to make sure I bring this up.
I just do it so I know I'm actively watching, because I usually forget about what I watched 5 minutes after I watched it, right? So
I think I'm halfway between the two of you.
Okay. Where do we put the our monster? We're gonna call him a monster. Do we dare call him a monster?
Father?
We can call the eyeball at the start a monster.
Okay, the eyeball at the start. Let's right.
But also that's a victim too.
Yeah.
He's also a victim because he went in to get experimental treatment, and then an eyeball of a serial killer got into the machinery, I think.
Yep.
Kind of like the Fly. And that's what I assumed happened. Like they needed to transport him to get all the bad out or something, right? But they got some bad in as well.
I was just watching the infamous Voyager episode where
Threshold.
How did you know? I just said that immediately.
That's the infamous Voyager episode.
They spend all this time about them being lizards and giving birth to lizard babies, and then they just are like, I have to put them into the warp core to fix them, and they never show that part at all.
Anyway, I was pretty sure you weren't talking about Tuvix, which
I thought he was going to talk about Tuvix.
Well, it was a monster, so that means Threshold.
Yeah. Well, the monster in that one was Janeway.
Yeah, she's like, what makes you think that the man lizard would initiate pregnancy? She pretty much said that.
That's a good point. Okay.
One of my favorite lines in this one was when he's after the baby's been born, and he's like, but how did it impregnate a man? That's a mystery we'll never know. To clarify, we will never know.
So I'm curious, Luke, do you remember first time seeing this series, or do you have a history with it?
Yeah, I've been aware of it for a long time, and I've seen a lot of these creators in other stuff. I only watched Garth Marenghi last year.
Oh, wow.
I just stumbled across it on YouTube, and I was like, oh, it's all here. And I just watched it over like a couple of days. Loved it.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd seen like clips from it, and I'd seen screenshots and memes, and I knew a lot of these actors from other stuff. But yeah, I only properly encountered it really recently.
I'm pretty sure that I don't remember if I mentioned this on the previous episodes of this series, but This was one of the first things I saw on YouTube, because when YouTube was like good, when it started, it was sort of like there were no ads and everything was legal.
You would have had to watch this in multiple clips at that time.
Maybe it may have been
10
somewhere else. It may have been somewhere else. I saw it. I think it was our friend Devin Carlin who showed it to me.
That's who showed it to me. So I guess that's what he'd do. People, because that was Seattle, people just visit him and he'd make them watch the entirety of.
Well,
Garth
this is
Marenghi's
the
Dark
sort
Place.
of shit my friend Colin would have sent me, but I don't think he ever did. Like the baby in particular really reminds me of the giant sperm from Xavier Renegade Angel.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna get at where you want to place the. That's why I was getting is the eyeball a monster, because I wanted you to place the cocked monster on your monster spectrum.
It's a pretty gnarly monster.
It was so long. I don't even know how you keep something like that erect.
Well, he's a monster. He
well,
probably
eyeballs
drinks
don't need a lot
Monster
of blood, I
energy
guess.
drinks.
So
Yeah, he was like channeling a bunch of mana or something like that to keep it erect. Like he had some kind of
because most of what's in his body would be eye juice, right?
so maybe when he transformed, all of his bones went into the. He's got an actual boner. Got a spine in his dick.
and that's how you get a man pregnant.
Yeah.
Yes, you get a spine in your dick. Okay, that's happened. That's the Amazon fish, right, or something parasite that'll
Swim up your dick.
Yeah.
Like the Kandiru.
Do you ever go swimming in the Amazon? Wear a rubber.
I can't swim, so I'm safe forever.
Or if anything, you're less safe.
Then you're drowning.
If by
in the
some
Amazon.
coincidence we're in the Amazon River.
Yeah, you can like pee. From what I understand, you can pee off the side of the boat and it could just swim up the stream.
That sounds like
that's probably not true.
legend. Yeah,
It crosses the streams.
if you swim up, if a fish swims up a waterfall, it becomes a dragon. So
Well, I'm seeing what
it
I
may
have.
fancy itself a bit of a dragon.
I was just double checking because I couldn't remember. So yeah, Richard Iwadi and Matthew Holness, which is Dean Lerner and Garth Marenghi, they wrote and created and directed it. And I'm very familiar with Richard Iwadi. He's hilarious.
He's now a Star Wars droid, even.
Yeah.
He was the voice of the translator for the fish frog lady whose Baby Yoda ate all the eggs of. I guess that's a spoiler, but that was a year old. So
Yeah.
Eggs.
Anyway,
It feels like a similar storyline almost to a Garth Marenghi thing. Like
I guess he's attracted to that sort of thing, right?
yeah, no, he fit in perfectly there.
Matthew Holness, I've seen him in this and a couple of like adjacent shows, and he had that cameo in the British Office. But other than that, I don't feel like I've seen him in much stuff.
He apparently made a like real horror movie about 10 years ago.
Okay.
It's called Possum, and it's supposed to be actually really good.
How long ago did you say that film was?
It's like 2008.
2018.
Okay, so
Time
2018.
flies.
I know the last 2 years have been long, but
my only defense is I didn't actually see it. So
yeah.
I have a question. I couldn't tell if it's a euphemism or if Dean or Reed or whatever his name is in the show. Did he actually shit himself in the office? I think he did.
He said I just went, which doesn't necessarily mean that he just.
I think he's just suggesting that he's been to the toilet, so he didn't need to fart or shit.
I like my interpretation.
Well, he also could be lying. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say it could be like a euphemism as well. So, yeah. Let's see what else do I have on here. Oh, should we feel for grasshoppers? And does that mean he was having an extramarital affair with a grasshopper?
I mean, she was having a extramarital affair with grasshopper.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, no, because grasshopper babies are born from the dude.
Okay.
Maybe a grasshopper like got into his dick while they were having sex.
Oh, okay. That happens.
Maybe Dr. Rick Douglas had a brief career as Kamen Rider. Because the helmet's a grasshopper. So
yeah, and it just I get what you're saying. It just kind of rubbed off.
Yeah.
So because if you think about something enough, your offspring will.
Well, no, maybe she was. No, I mean, I don't mean he was playing Kamen Rider. I mean, he was the Kamen Rider. So the superpowers made him have a grasshopper baby.
No, I like
When Spider-Man gets
Hmm.
people pregnant, but then it's like radioactive.
Okay. No, I like the idea that.
Wait, did that happen?
Like Common Rider.
In one of the comics, Mary Jane has a miscarriage because Spider-Man's sperm is too radioactive.
Oh, neat.
Doesn't that happen with Superman Lois Lane too? Because
Possibly.
Superman is too virile.
But then
There is-
he does in
that-
some timelines have May. So
I don't believe in Superman having sex with humans. It just that's too far. That's
have you
too
heard
ridiculous.
the original idea for the film Hancock?
No.
It was called Tonight He Comes. And in that film, Hancock had sex. It would obliterate the woman.
Wow.
Because he would, come at like Superman force.
But then
that was
instead-
why he was so depressed and miserable at the start.
So instead they just called it Hancock because he just masturbates in the movie, right?
Yeah, I guess. Also, if you've read the comic The Pro, which is like a parody of the Justice League, but where one of the members is a prostitute who gets superpowers.
Oh, that
At
sounds
one
fun.
point, she gives the Superman a blowjob, and at the end, he's like, "Move your head, move your fucking head," and then he shoots down a plane.
Well, anyway, I'm sure.
So, yeah, there's your Superman coming anecdotes for the episode.
I'm sure Garth Marenghi is also this potent. That's why he never gets laid.
He has a dutiful wife and 4 daughters, so
Yeah, it's
he's
true.
had sex at least twice, canonically.
I feel
Well,
he seems
One
like
of them was
somebody who,
twins, so that means
Yeah.
that there's at least one more time to have the other 2.
Yeah.
or he's Garth Marenghi, the character, whatever. Garth Marenghi, the author,
Yeah,
seems like somebody who would just sort of go to the study and then drink scotch and not talk to anyone at home.
yeah.
So
Well, even in the flashback to like Rick Douglas's happy memories of having a kid, it's like he loses at tennis and gets grumpy, and the kid has to go indoors.
Yeah, he just sort of looks like he's standing around kind of bored while the kid jumps around.
Yeah,
yeah, his life is all heartache. He's got to wait for this boring shit of the kid jumping around. Just jump around, have your fun while I'm over here being bored. it's a cross we have to carry.
It's probably more like they had to shoot it in fast motion, so he had to not move a whole lot because then it would look weird.
I mean, we'll get to that next episode.
So how far would you go to protect your eyeball child?
I would consider not killing it if it bit my hand.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I would go to like ridiculous lengths. Whenever there's a video game and it's the choice is like, oh, do you save the town or save the love interest? It's like zero hesitation. Town's gone. So I'm well aware of what my capabilities are in those sort of situations.
Be careful.
Well, yeah, in that case, you're choosing between the written character and all the characters that don't have any writing.
Well,
all the
yeah, I
characters
know.
that are like, "Hey, how you doing?"
But that's how I think about real people. It's like I choose about the person I know or numbers.
The NPCs can all NPCs can all go to
NPCs.
hell.
Yeah.
But that's why like Grand Theft Auto was such a huge thing. I think people talk about like the immersion, the driving, the killing, but like the reason Grand Theft Auto games were great immediately was because you walk by people and they're saying just completely inane bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, how correct were the other doctors then in being hell bent on destroying the eyeball child because he was a abomination?
Well, they were just following orders, and according to the Geneva Convention, that's not a defense.
Ah, yes.
Mm.
So Garth is the only one that's morally like astute here.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of
I don't recall if they even gave a reason for getting the eyeball child.
He
other than
said
just
the orders
getting
come
him.
from Wonton, so
Right. I forget. Do we ever meet Wonton?
nope.
is
Just hear it
wonton
mentioned.
is wonton a soup?
Yes. Isn't Wonton
Perhaps.
like the dumpling that goes in the soup?
Yeah, but you can call it wonton soup.
Okay. But yeah, he's like the director of the hospital or whatever.
So what? Okay, sorry, I forgot to read the name on
I-
Dean's desk. Then
I know they weren't really planning to only do one season, so that probably would have come up eventually.
yeah, they kind of did the face to face as you mentioned before. But
Yeah. Also, there was a stage play before this. I'd love to see a recording of that.
oh yeah, that'd be fun. I feel like we need like bad video and weird glitches, like technical glitches. I mean, you can make a crappy set.
Oh yeah, I don't want the official video of that stage play. I want one that was filmed on someone's phone.
Unfortunately, it was 2005, so if it was filmed on someone's phone, you get like the razor.
Which 15-second clip did you enjoy the best?
And then then people had camcorders, so you get the wavy trash humpers version.
We can assign them weird decimals and stuff. So Mark, what are you doing after after your eyeball child bites you? I don't think we got to your answer on that.
Well, for one thing, you notice in the episode he does kind of like, when he's reunited with the eyeball child, he takes his finger and just sort of like puts it in the eyeball child's mouth.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's asking for it. So, because I got punched in the nut yesterday, but they looked harmless until I got punched in the nut. So.
Yeah, I was lying down playing with some toys with some kids while another kid just took running jumps on my back. Over and over.
I don't work with kids, so I can't really tell you. I can't tell you what my breaking point is. I've never like screamed. I've never screamed at a kid or like bashed it on the counter. Or
I never get that angry at them hurting me, but when they start hurting each other, I tend to get involved.
You've never made a delivery and ended up in a screaming match?
Not with an actual child.
Just adult children.
Yes, just adult children.
Okay, I guess we can lay the eyeball child to rest. He's dead. His father with the giant cock is dead.
Do you know who I would like to lay to rest?
Oh yes, you.
So did any of you recognize the janitor at the start of this episode?
No.
So that is Graham Linehan. He was the writer of Father Ted and the IT Crowd.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
huge piece of shit.
Oh.
He's repeatedly been banned from every social media for constantly going on transphobic rants.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like the prototype, like J.K. Rowling, massive turf asshole. Like constantly trying to get like trans charities shut down and stuff. Spreading heinous bullshit about like how being trans is a mental illness and
I've never seen the IT Crowd. Is that like
it's got good moments. There's one episode in the second season where the entire joke is that one of these women used to be a man.
Oh, there you go.
So you go back and watch that one and you're like, oh, right. Yeah, it was all here.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not that great, but it's got Richard Ayoade and Matt Berry and Noel Fielding doing their shit. So they're great.
Yeah, I've always heard.
Right, it's kind of regardless at that point.
Yeah.
Well, you just find out one of your friends is an asshole, right? Yeah. Well, that's what we talked about yesterday. You know, if people are working on a project, you were like, if they have an inkling, does that make them an accomplice?
Right. But I don't think anyone could have had an inkling of this because it's not like he was a sex pest actively.
Right.
It's just many years later he started coming out with heinous opinions.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't doing anything wrong at the time.
Mm.
This isn't like, you know, he was constantly diddling kiddies while they were making the show. This wasn't BBC, this was Channel 4.
Yeah, there's this, we're living in this unfortunate time period where people can sort of just slip onto Twitter and let's just dole out transphobic stuff and without being like a literal rapist, and there's kind of a gray area that society just lets them sit in. And
I don't know.
It was much better when your artists, you bought their album and then you didn't hear from them until the next album.
Yeah, or the worst you hear is like they were rude to someone at a signing.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Well, they smashed up a hotel room. I like hearing that. That's what I want my rock stars to be doing.
Yeah, Marriott can afford it.
Yeah.
That said, the shit that went down in the 70s would not go down now.
Yeah, but that's it. But I didn't need to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also it's like if society like super hard cosigns a toxic mindset, then it's a little bit easier to forgive celebrities. But rather than celebrities deciding they're going to lead the transphobic movement or whatever the hell it is.
Well, the root of the problem is just that we don't actually have any, like none of our politicians or anything are real leaders at this point in time.
Yeah.
So everyone looks up to fucking celebrities, but they don't know shit. They just wrote a book about a wizard.
Yeah, and really
to for your life advice.
like just from personal experience, it's like J.K. Rowling and Dave Chappelle are basically just out of material, and
Yeah.
that's why they're doing this. It's like that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, and Dave Chappelle mostly skyrocketed to fame by working with like 4 or 5 other people who are all brilliant writers, and it's like, then he tried to crash a plane or something because I don't know, maybe he has some mental illness.
Whereas Rowan Atkinson landed a plane.
Oh, well, I think Rowan Atkinson's cool, right?
Yeah, he's super cool.
Okay, good.
Why did he land the plane?
Because the pilot had like a heart attack, but Rowan Atkinson can fly planes.
Oh, okay.
So he landed the plane.
I was just wondering if he would like.
He's like a legit dude.
Okay, I just wonder if he just like figured out how to land the plane, or if he already knew.
Yeah, I watched like the entire first season of Mr. Bean on Sunday morning.
Is it true that Mr. Bean only has like 15 episodes or something?
It's less than
Was
that. I
really
think it's
short?
like 6.
God, that's insane.
It's like 6 episodes,
I didn't know
2
that.
movies and an animated series. Yeah.
It's like
But
I've just casually
each
watched
episode
it.
is made of like 3 sketches. So I guess you could feel like, oh, there's 18, but they're like 5 minutes long.
It's like I've so casually watched it that I just assumed it was much longer than it actually is. And
Yeah, there was a
I've
thing
watched
going around the other day on Twitter. People like all these kids' TV shows, especially from the UK. That in your head, you feel like they ran for years and years. You look it up on Wikipedia, it's like 6 episodes, 12 episodes.
I mean, Transformers, the original series of that was what, like 40 episodes, 50, something like that.
That's quite a lot. It's like a
It is a lot.
DVD box set.
It is a lot, and all those came out within like 2 years, but it just feels the influence of that is so much bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if you move to Japan, then you've got like 3 extra seasons they made.
Yeah, I've seen some of those with fan subs, and it's a fantastic experience. I think they changed. I think they officially released an official version that made sense, which kind of sucks because the version I saw, they were just saying ridiculous stuff like, I am the emperor of pain. I will destroy your mind. Just ridiculous, badly translated
like,
stuff.
I think the main villain in that is called Deathsaurus.
I know there was a clip going around where it was Galvatron was trying to make a bunch of other Transformers become part of his body because he wanted to become a planet like Unicron, and then everybody like turned on him.
It's like, no, you can't kill all of us to make yourself into a new planet. I can see where people would be against that. Robots or whatever.
Yeah,
people are robots too.
I think they're the robots are the most human characters of all because they're what the show's about.
Well, yeah, like that's what pisses me off about when people complain about the movies. It's like, oh, there's no human. I don't care about human characters. I think there should be less talking in those movies.
You're absolutely right. There should be less. That was why the 4th one was so entertaining to me, because there were more robots and they had different agendas. It wasn't sort of just like, we're here to help Shia LaBeouf find his girlfriend.
Yeah, but they do spend too much time on clauses in that one.
Yeah, well, there's also like 30 minutes
With
of his
Mark
mom
Wahlberg.
getting high on brownies.
It was the second
That's
one.
the second one.
The second one, right? Okay.
I
Mark
know
Wahlberg
That's
was-
not even in the 4th one.
And I will defend that sequence.
That felt like the sequence that was written and acted by people who had never done weed.
So Michael Bay, probably.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael Bay has only done cocaine.
So this is what happens if you eat a cocaine brownie.
Yeah, you make
He's only done
Transformers.
cocaine. He hasn't done weed or food or water.
Yeah, only keto diet and cocaine, nothing else.
Keto cane.
Keto cane.
That's what it's called, the keto cane diet. I'm sure. I just trademarked it because by saying that, I just trademarked it.
Yeah. You just take this podcast episode and mail it to yourself, and it's the poor man's copyright. That works in Japan, right?
Probably. Well, here you'll go to the festival. I think maybe you've seen it, where you go to the festival and they've got like the super bootleg Mickey Mouse on like the food stand sign.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love all the bootleg character stuff. Where we went to that Star Wars bar that was illegal.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
just like
it wasn't illegal in
cave.
Japan. It was fine in Japan, but I'm sure that, especially with the mouse in charge now, that it's probably not there anymore.
Well, who knows?
I have no clue. I don't know.
And there was like a giant blue Snoopy somewhere.
I don't remember that.
It was just to Snoopy, but it was blue.
I remember
That one might have been legal.
I had my Whoopi Woodpecker T-shirt for a while. And I think you saw that. That's
maybe
Nasu Highland. It looks like, exactly like Woody Woodpecker, but it's Whoopi Woodpecker.
I saw a great
Nice.
picture today that Hot Topic in America just brought out an official Super Mario T-shirt that spells Mario wrong.
Oh, nice.
Just says
I
Super
have-
Mario.
I have
There is no I in Mario.
I have a shirt that I purchased from Walgreens here that someone tipped me off. It says Atlanta. It's just an Atlanta shirt where they just left a T out of it.
Nice.
Gotta have those.
Yeah, Matt got me that Atlanta Reorgia Marta Empire
Reorgia.
State.
Yeah, that was pretty
That
cool.
was great. Still got it somewhere.
I guess we should wrap this one up for now.
Mhm.
So this is Aural Hygiene Pod on Twitter. It's Aural Hygiene on Facebook. We're on your feeds. I guess I'll toss the ball to you to open up that umbrella.
If you want to support this podcast, you can find it on Patreon at patreon.com/podcastio, where you'll find all of the podcasts me and Matt create. You may be listening to this on the Patreon early. Maybe you signed up to the Patreon just to listen to this, in which case you're welcome. Hope you had fun. And yeah, from there you can find links to our sci-fi podcasts, Matt's Twilight Zone podcast, my Pokemon podcast, my Monster Hunter podcast. You can watch me stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/LukeLovesPKMN, blah, blah, blah.
How much do you Twitch on Twitch?
Like tweaking.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and downing an energy drink. So
I know it's a pertinent question, isn't it? Okay, Mark, you're just living, are you?
I keep trying out social networks. Follow me on Letterboxd at Filter Broken.
Is your filter broken?
Yes. Fuck
Better
shit.
get a
shit.
new
Fuck.
filter.
Okay.
Follow me on Mastodon and
what?
I can't remember all the name of all the fucking right-wing social networks I was going to make a joke, but I forgot literally all of them.
Parlor, I think.
Parlor,
There's
yeah,
one.
there you go. Find out what I really think about all the minorities.
Follow me on Giant Dick at eyeball.com.
I hit the wrong button. That
Yeah,
wasn't
what
the
are you
right
doing?
button. I was trying to stop the recording,
know.
but I hit the wrong button.